Alright, quiet on the set. Got this Dutchstar. This is a big old Class A. It's a pretty coach. Alright, we will be traveling upstairs. This is our second level. That's what we call it, the second level. We need an elevator, maybe an escalator. All right, so they already got the some of the components off, but this was your typical put more on type of situation with the die core, and this is sounds pretty good. But this is a metal roof. I believe that's an aluminum roof on here, and someone put a coating on it. They still leak. They still leak. You need to have curbs. You need to have all the detail put in for the plumbing and the vents and the air conditioners and so forth. So we got some sealing damage in there too, because this thing had leaked, and we're gonna see. We got a dehumidifier in there to try to get it dry. So this is what we got so far. They've been working on it. And the other thing we're going to do is, like we do on this one, on some of the other ones, we're going to terminate the roof on the top. Well, we're getting some of the decking up, and this is where some of the leaking was. That's the ceiling panel. So we'll obviously get rid of all that insulation, any bad insulation to get rid of. There's some here. Seems like it all wanted to go towards the driver's side. So anything that's wet, we want to get some blowers up here. That's why we're trying to tear all this apart. But here's what we got over here. We're working it. We're working it. And we'll check all the ductwork like we normally do. All those wires just sitting on there. All that weight on these wires, these tend to start digging in. I'm surprised that hasn't dug in any more than what it was. I got that there. Maybe that was supposed to bridge it up because it looks like it's zip tied. We'll put a piece of aluminum on there. That'll help that problem. And then we'll check, see how the wires are, if we can get in to look at them. Going where they are. This is going to get welded on the top. We're not going to bring it over the shoulder. We're going to keep it on the top. Quiet on the set! Well, you can see all the glue we got. We're starting to get this all together. And then inside in the ceiling, we have that all dried out. And it actually dried out. It took me like 3 days to dry it out. So it was either that or start tearing in and taking out sealing. So I said, well, let's just have some patience. So it was right in here. So we got all that, but you can see we get the insulation back in, and that's what we're doing now, is getting all this secured down. We're getting it glued and screwed. So once we get that done, we can start getting the roofing on here. Let's go take a look at our Dutchstar. Doing a lot of work. Getting barrels all filled. A lot going on. So I showed you we got the deck down, and then we've already got one side of the roofing rolled and sprayed on this other side. So what we've got is you can see all the glue on here, and then you can see our strips in here, our protective strips, and then what this yellow tape is, that's a special metal that we're going to weld to, so we don't want to get glue all over it. That's why this side is taped as well. So when we roll it over, we're going to peel all that off so we won't have to keep washing it down to weld it. So that's going to be ready to go here in a minute, and we'll just roll it out. Well, we got the other side all rolled out. Now we're going to go over it with a heavy-duty roller right here. That's what we're doing. Roll her down, peck her down, back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth. That's what we do. So now what we got to do is, this side's good. We're going to weld this. We got to trim that other side. Once we trim this other side right here, we'll go back to about here, I guess. Wherever that piece is. There it is. Look at that squeaky. Right about there, all the way down. Once we do that, then we weld that. Well, we're done with our Dutchstar. Woo-wee. This is where they had all that booger. Not much we can do about that. We got our logo on here. We put that on there so when the vehicle comes back for inspections, we know when the roof was installed. And also, if you ever decided to sell the coach, then whoever he sells it to, they know when the roof was put on. So what we did on this one, like we did on a lot of them, this is all welded all the way back here. We got a 4-inch weld all the way down. Seal this. This is all double sealed. Everything is all double caulked. Everything's all double caulked down here. Now, on this roof here, the reason why I did it this way is, one, you can see all the, see if I can step back a little bit, maybe you can see it. You can see the graphics on that shoulder. I wouldn't have a roof color to come down and match that. And option one would either be to put a decal on it or, you know, paint it or something else. And it just wouldn't look right. So, you know, the customer agreed, let's put it on the top. So we welded everything on the top. So we got these boots are obviously welded in. Everything's all heat welded in there. That's a special sealer we put in, and it withstands all the movement of the ladder. So that's why we put them together that way. And this is a commercial application. This whole roof is all commercial. Everything on here is commercial. There's not anything on here that's RV related. The only thing RV is the actual machine. So we got air conditioners mounted up there. You see we got the 2 stands in the back, and we've got a piece of this piece that goes up underneath the cover. That's a piece of counterflash that I put in. Now up underneath the actual air conditioner is a foam gasket, which we did replace. And if I did not have this piece here, the rain would come down, and especially as you're traveling, it would just travel along the bottom side and just, you know, put water up against that foam gasket, which it's sealed, but I just don't like that. So I put this piece onto here, and what this piece does is it goes below. All these curbs that I build all have counterflash on them. So this piece goes below the counterflash. So what's a counterflash? This is a counterflash. This is a counterflash right here. And the purpose of this is when the water starts as you're traveling, especially in heavy rain, as you're traveling and the water is kind of gushing across the roof, it's going to hit here and it gets redirected out and around. All of them have it. So this counterflash on under the cover goes over this counterflash on that curb. So all the water will go away from that foam gasket. So we get all that squared away, and then you can see we get the same on here. All these vents, they're all heat welded in. Everything's all heat welded. And then we put this little solar back on, and then we put all the antennas back on, put our little dome back on, air horns, made special boots for everything, and special mounts. So I shall go around this way, sealed all around these lights, sealed all around the lights, we sealed around everything on top here. We also put, and heat welded all of this on here. This is a hot mess the way they put this one together. So, you know, again, we have our plate up here, heat welded everything in, and these we screwed everything down. That's what you're looking at, these little bumps, that's the screws. Not much I can do about that. Again, all this is all heat welded in here, and then obviously we sealed all that. Same with the antennas. Again, there's just some of the stuff we can't get around. You know, we just can't get around all that. All right, so coming back down here, what this is, got a new skylight lens on here, and this is a solar fan. So what typically happens is when the moisture gets on here, the dew that gets on there, the sun will come up and it'll evaporate it off the top, okay, from here. But up on the underside, you'll still have condensation. That's the principle of the whole thing. The whole thing is cold. So when it comes up and it gets evaporated off, what gets warmed up underneath will just drool down and basically condensate, hence condensation. It will condensate, and then it could get around either our curb, but a lot of times you'll find it'll ruin the roof deck, or you may have some sealing issues around there, which is pretty common. So the only way I could figure out how to eliminate this problem, and this is a manufacturer's defect, this isn't, you know, this is clearly, all the manufacturers have the same design, which unfortunately they don't make accommodations for this. But this fan, when the sun comes up, that fan is a solar fan, it will kick on. And when it kicks on, it's going to draw through this. So there's a trough that goes down, and it goes underneath the curb, and then you got the inner lens up here, and then obviously this lens up here, but the air will come up, go over, and exhaust out. That's how it works. Now that being said, this, if that gets popped off, if it gets popped off, take this plumbing cap and put it on there, because that will leak into the coach. There's nothing there, it's just an open trough. So, you know, be mindful of that. Just swap this. Well, if both of them get ripped off for whatever reason, tree branch comes, clips them both off, put some tape on it. We leave folks with a care package, and it does have some tape in there. Somehow block that up. It doesn't matter. And then you can always get another one of these little bell caps and pop them on. But that needs to be remedied if it pops off, for sure. So that's what all that's about. This is a wind sensor, and then you got another plumbing down there. So what we got on this roof here, this is a commercial roof. My background is commercial roofs. I design these roof systems, and I make every single component, no matter what it is. If you watch some other ones, I've done some real crazy curbs for like satellite dishes, and so whatever it is, I'll custom build it so it fits, and it fits like it's supposed to fit and look professional. But this roof system right here is a 20-year commercial grade roof system. So this is the product right here. This is TPO, which means thermoplastic, and you can see all those little squares in there, right? That's what's called a scrim, or a mesh that's in there. It's reinforcement, and it helps to prevent against hail and also tree branches. So it would be real hard to really poke something through it. The maintenance on this is super easy. All you have to do is just wash it with some regular mild soap, and that's it. Whether it's be dish soap or whether it's, you know, just something easy. You don't have to. You can pressure wash it as well, or you can bring it to a truck wash and tell them, hey, get on up there and pressure wash the thing. It'll handle it. So there won't be an issue with that at all. This is what's called 60 mil. That's the thickness of it. That's how thick it is. And again, this is the same product you're going to find on a restaurant, on an office building, a library, an office building, you know, hospital. Same exact material. I buy all my materials in bulk, and I buy them from supply houses. So but that's the product right there. Now also our warranty, we'd like to see this come back 30 days, or that's really what I'd like to see. If it's 60, sure, but really I want to see it move. I want to see it move and twist and flex. If I get another Dutchstar in here, I promise it is going to rack and twist and flex differently than this one, even if it's the same year, same model and everything. It's just the way it is. That being said, after we check it for the initial, then you come back once a year. So I know sometimes it's a pain in the butt, but you figure how expensive it is to put these roofs on, and also the amount of labor and so forth. I don't want to redo a roof. You don't want to redo a roof. So just bring it back, and then after that you come back once a year and we inspect it. So what we're looking for is to make sure we're addressing all the issues with the coach. So this is not a DIY channel, so if you get some tips out of it, great. But and also, we don't sell a thing. We don't sell anything at all. We have some folks that, you know, get us on the channel and they'll make a comment, hey, can I buy this, can I buy that? We do not sell one thing at all. We're just a service center. And also, we don't do any quotes on social media. So keep that in mind. If you have any questions or anything, there should be a card at the end of the video, and also in the beginning of the video, where you can reach out to us, and you know, we can answer all your questions. So, thanks for watching.
Right. So in our care package, we have caulking, we got primer, we have got 2 patches. Those are heat patches. We got a patch peel and stick patch. We got a checker tool. We've got a magnet. And the rest of this is just pens, keychains, brush, nozzle. Okay, so if we have a hole in the roof, it will simulate a hole. You can do hole simulations. We say we got a hole there. Here's your tree branch come through, and you're like, oh man, I got a hole in my roof, it's leaking. So what you want to do? And it's raining out. Right now it's raining. You're like, crap, I gotta stop that leak. You want to get in there, and if you can't get that nozzle in there, don't worry about it. Make it a little bigger. What you try and do, you need to get up underneath the roofing, like this. This is what we need to do, get up underneath the roofing. Then you're going to take and you're going to put this up inside there, and you're going to squeeze, 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 squeeze. Hopefully this thing is plugged up. There it goes. You squeeze, squeeze. You want to try and get up underneath this part too. Squeeze up underneath there. Put some more underneath there. Well, we are getting this thing all boogered up. Then what we're going to do, you're going to push it together. See how it oozes out? That's sealed. You're done. This is a moisture cured product. So what? It's a hot mess. Looks terrible. Who cares? Keep the water out. So now, the next day, we're gonna go up there, and that's gonna be cured looking like that. So we're gonna take a knife, and you just shave it down. Just shave it down with a knife. I'm just gonna obviously wipe this off. Now you say, hey, I want something a little better than that. So what we're gonna do is get some cleaner. This is a terrible rag. You got another one. You got one on you? Oh, get a rag, get a rag, get a rag, get a rag, get a rag. Hey, how you doing? What you gonna talk about, man? Nope, just leave it alone. Oh, leave it alone right now. We're recording now? Are we on?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Alright, so now we cleaned it off with a knife. I just washed that off because it's still wet. Take that off. So now we got a patch. This is a peel and stick patch. We're going to take that, we're going to center it over there. Just take a pen and go around like this. I like to kind of put a dash like that so I know who's where, what, and where, and how. So now there's what I got. So in the package we got primer. We also have a brush. You're going to take that, you're going to go all inside the square. You're also going to go outside this square about 3/8 of an inch. Outside about 3/8 of an inch or so. Once you get that, there's a film on the back. You peel the film, now you know which side you are, see, because there's your marks. And you peel that film back. Get the fingers in there to get the film off of this thing. This is just a regular roof tape. That's all it is. We put them in all the care packages. Get that daggone thing off of there. Probably need some fingernails. Probably help. Come on. There it is. Okay. Oop, hit, there it is. Now you got the film. You take that film. So now we're going to line it back up with this. We already got the primer under there. You just peel the film back, and as you do, you just rub it down like this. Sometimes that film will get a little stuck in there. This is just a butyl. You just kind of try to keep it as even as you can and flat as you can. Boom, you're done. There it is. So now, out here, this is where your primer is. You put the primer on there. You got primer there, and now you're going to put primer here. You want to prime all this area with your brush. Prime all that. Then you're going to come back. Once you get it all primed, then you're going to put a little bit of caulking on it, just like this. That's simple. It doesn't all sit in there. You can always take your finger and go around it if you want. We're trying to obviously stop a leak and make one of. There's going to be a little more permanent of a patch than just that plug that we did when it was raining. So now that we get that all done, what the whole purpose of it is this part here. This part underneath here, that's a butyl. When the sun hits that, if you didn't have the caulking on there, it will cause it to release and curl up just like I'm doing here. And it'll start coming loose. That's why you need the primer. That's why when you prime it, you're going to prime on top of this because nothing will stick to it. Nothing, the caulking will not stick to this patch and it won't stick to the roof unless you use the primer. That's how you do a patch. Ta-da! All done.